While daily life proceeds normally, a living epic unfolds within the human body, akin to a breathtaking drama. The unseen protagonist in this epic is insulin, that silent guardian who holds the keys to life for your cells. Let's turn off the lights and raise the curtain to witness the terrifying scenario that plays out inside the body when a diabetic patient suddenly decides to expel this guardian and refuse insulin injections. Scene 1, in the early hours. Food siege in the land of abundance. Imagine a city overflowing with caravans of food in the streets, yet the inhabitants of the houses are dying of hunger because the doors are locked with a magic padlock. This is exactly what happens. The sick person eats their food, the food is converted into glucose that flows into the bloodstream. The blood is teeming with energy, but without insulin, the cell doors remain tightly shut. Muscles, fat cells, and vital organs cry out for sustenance, starving amidst an abundance of nutrients. The pressing question is, why doesn't glucose enter all organs without insulin? The main reason is the difference in the type of glucose gates, or glut transporters, found on the cell walls of each organ to protect vital organs and regulate energy. Here is the precise scientific explanation of this intelligent mechanism in the body. First, intelligent gates that do not require permission. These are organs independent of insulin. There are vital organs of utmost importance that cannot wait for the body to release insulin to obtain their energy, therefore, they possess glucose transporters. Like GLUT1 and GLUT3, which are always open, they function by normal diffusion according to blood sugar concentration, and include 1. Brain and nervous system cells. The brain alone consumes about 20% of the body's energy. If its entry depended on insulin, brain cells would die quickly during fasting or sleep. Low insulin levels. 2. Red blood cells. They lack a nucleus or complex energy factories and rely entirely on the direct absorption of free glucose to survive. 3. Kidneys and intestines. They need to continuously absorb and recycle sugar without hormonal restrictions. Second. Gateways locked with a key. Organs that depend on insulin. Skeletal muscles and adipose tissue possess a special type of transporter, GLUT4. These transporters are hidden inside cells and only appear on the surface when insulin binds to its receptors, like a key that it unlocks the lock. But why did the body impose these restrictions specifically on muscles and fat? You need to understand that the combined mass of muscle and fat is enormous, which is why muscles and fat make up the largest portion of your body weight. If its gates were open all the time without insulin, it would absorb all the fat. The glucose in the blood would be immediately absorbed, depriving the brain of nourishment. Insulin is released in abundance after a meal, a state of plenty, opening the doors for muscles and fat to store excess sugar as glycogen or fat, protecting the body from a sharp rise in blood sugar. Scene 2. The suicide decision and the burning of bridges. When hunger persists, the brain, the command center, panics and misinterprets the situation. There's no sugar in the body, we're dying. The brain issues a suicidal order. Destroy the fat stores immediately and extract energy from them. A random burning process begins. And it thickens fats. But this emotional burning results in a toxic chemical ash called ketones. These acids flow into the bloodstream, and with terrifying speed, the patient's bright blood turns into a burning acidic swamp. This is ketoacidosis. Here the body begins to break down. While the lungs heroically try, and with rapid exhalation, these acids are expelled, and the patient's breath smells of fermented fruit, acetone, the smell of a final, desperate cry for help. The brain, poisoned by the acids, loses control, and the patient falls into a deep coma. Scene 3. The great drought. In another part of the body, the kidneys stand bewildered before the soaring blood sugar levels, rising like a flood threatening to burst blood vessels. The kidneys decide to open the blockages to expel the sugar through urine. But the sugar doesn't go away on its own. It draws enormous quantities of water from within cells and tissues according to the laws of physics, the property of osmosis. Literally, the body squeezes itself to expel the water. The patient sleeps with a mouth as dry as a barren desert, his blood becoming thick and viscous like black honey. Blood flow to the organ ceases, and his blood pressure collapses, leading to a silent hyperosmolar coma. Scene 3. The Great Drought. In another part of the body, the kidneys stand bewildered before the soaring blood sugar levels, rising like a flood threatening to burst blood vessels. The kidneys decide to open the blockages to expel the sugar through urine. But the sugar doesn't go away on its own. It draws enormous quantities of water from within cells and tissues according to the laws of physics, the property of osmosis. Literally, the body squeezes itself to expel the water. The patient sleeps with a mouth as dry as a barren desert, his blood becoming thick and viscous like black honey. Blood flow to the organ ceases, and his blood pressure collapses, leading to a silent hyperosmolar coma. Scene 4. Slow destruction. Silent, deadly, and long-term. If the patient survives the previous immediate hurricanes, especially in the second type, then the high sugar turns into a silent thief that passes through the body's organs one after the other to destroy them very slowly. First, the darkened screen of the eye, the delicate blood vessels in the retina become blocked and rupture under the pressure of diabetes. The eye tries to salvage the situation by building new, fragile capillaries, but these burst and bleed in the darkness, gradually extinguishing the gift of sight. Secondly, the kidney tragedy. Millions of tiny filters in the kidney wage a losing battle daily to filter the viscous blood. The filters wear down and harden until the kidneys clinically fail, and the patient becomes dependent on dialysis. And this is the final chapter of the tragedy. The body that has lost its sensation, dead nerves. Sugar cuts off the supply lines, oxygen, to the nerves. It begins with a burning pain and ends with the complete loss of sensation. The patient could step on a burning ember or a nail and feel nothing. A simple wound can turn into black gangrene, and the cruel, dramatic moment arrives when the doctor stands and declares, amputation is necessary to save his life. In conclusion, insulin is not a restriction, but rather the lifeblood that ensures energy doesn't become a deadly poison. His absence without a well-thought-out and alternative medical strategy is an open invitation to the destruction of this great kingdom, which is the body.